This is Kristina from Surfing the Psychic Waves. I'm excited to be here on SoundCloud today. My guest today is Lindy Cowling from the UK. She regularly practices all sorts of teachings and healings at the Equilibrium Health Center in Wiltshire.
Yep, that's okay. Yep.
Yeah, and you can find out more at equilibriumhealth.co.uk. I think I'm saying that right. So, Lindy, tell me about December 29th, 2012. And what are you looking at with the full moon sort of in play right now? And, God, what are you feeling?
Well, thank you so much for having me on and speaking to me again. And you know what? I'm really, I think like most of the population of this planet, buzzing about getting to the end of 2012. I mean that in all the most positive ways, really. We've had a long build-up, and it's like we've all been in this marathon, and we can see the finishing line. We can see the finishing tape now, and we're almost there, and we've got all these new energies, and the full moon energies, but the ascension energies, you know, we're riding the wave of those. They're pushing us through over the finishing line so that we can get into 2013 and really get this show on the road. You know, this ascension energy is still building. We went through the 12-12 initiation, then 21-12. We're now almost at the end of December, coming into 2013, and the ascension energy will continue to keep building. And you know, we're really gonna need these. We're gonna really need these surfboards. I hope they've got turbo chargers on them so we can fly.
A little jet underneath there.
Yeah, we need some jet engines on them, because basically the chasm between those that are still in their head and in the what they think is the old third dimension, and which isn't actually here now, and those that are in fifth, well, that chasm is growing ever wider, like the Grand Canyon, and they're going to need some jet propulsion to get them across that gap, should they, you know, hover back in this old paradigm for too long. So yeah, it's exciting, you know. I for one, I'm looking forward to getting into 2013. Completely different kind of energy is going to build through then, and much easier energy for us to navigate. Well, depending on what side of the chasm you're on. You know, if you're on the old side, not so easy. If you're on the new side and you're going into this fifth dimension, then it'll be great. So,
yeah, I've been noticing I've been getting acquainted or reacquainted with the idea of courage.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, anything new feels great.
Yeah.
Anything new feels like, oh, yeah, I should be doing this. And then every once in a while, there's like that little kind of look back, looking over your shoulder of, God, really? I could do that, or I can think that, or I can move that forward, or I can, you know, change my whole belief system in like a moment's notice. It's almost like I've cleared away so much stuff now that I'm like, wow, there was nobody holding me back this entire time, and I'm kind of mad. But then at the same time, I realized that, like, okay, I can keep thinking those thoughts for a while, or I could just keep moving forward into this thing that I'm just sort of calling courage right now. And it's the space between space, I guess.
Yeah, and I can totally resonate with that, because it's strange, because in my life, you know, I've got a lot of things happening in my life too, and some of them are extremely challenging, and it's strange because when my energy field, or when my mind, when my body, when my soul is trying to almost like, it's not so much the soul, it's the energy field and the layers of energy around us, like the etheric body, when it's trying to repeat these old patterns and these old habits and these old beliefs, the old template, the old third dimensional template, when it's trying to do that, I'm not able to do it, and it's something like you said, something in me gets a bit mad. I think it's in my head, and it thinks, but that always used to work before. Why doesn't it work now? And you can't go backwards. It's a bit like if you've got a tube of toothpaste and you've squeezed the toothpaste out, you can't jam the toothpaste back into the tube. Once it's out and it's expanded and it's spread across the toothbrush or across the side or whatever, you can't get it back. You can't get it to go back again. You've just got to keep moving forward and expanding. And Yeah, that is, you know what, I think more than anything, I think it does call on courage for some of us, but you know, you get to this stage where you just know you've gone so far now that there is no going back. You just have to go for it, and you just have to keep moving forward. And we all signed up for this. We all wanted to be here at this time. And, you know, there are so many ways that we can move forward with this, and just by getting into this energy of the heart and getting into the energy of creativity and music and it's everything now is about vibration and frequency and sound. So anything that can get you into this fantastic space in your heart through music, through sound, through vibration, through that joy and love, and that is just, you know, it's just fantastic. So, you know, it's almost like you know, I'm going to say it again, for some of us, the hardest part has been done now. But for other people that are on the other side, and I see it, I'm actually getting visuals of this. It's like the Grand Canyon. There's a chasm. There's a splintering taking place here. And what's going to happen is some people are going to feel like they fall down the hole in the middle, which maybe this is the void, this is the space. Some people are going to be on one side of this, and some are going to be on the other. And you're going to only have so long before you can make the leap across, and then that's it. You know, you're either on one side or you're on the other, and that's 2013 is all about that. That's going to be very, very quick, you know, to see, and very, very quick to come to fruition. This isn't going to take the whole year. This is going to be fast. This is going to be within the first half of the year, all this. So it should be interesting.
Yeah. I would even say January, February, March.
Yeah.
I feel it. And, you know, I've been thinking back to, like, how long have I been on this journey? And it really woke up for me in 1987, that harmonic convergence. I didn't even know what was going on, but I did get lucky and have some folks around me who sort of understood that I was going through an awakening process, and I still didn't really understand it till many years later. But it's been 25 years since the harmonic convergence, and that was sort of the first time on the planet that we had the communications in place to do these global meditations. Yeah. And, you know, of course, when you're in meditation, you could talk to anyone all over the globe, but, you know, we weren't quite in that framework yet. And so now, 25 years later, December 12th was just overwhelming to me, because I've never felt so many people in meditation and doing their stuff for, you know, more than 24 hours. So it's just amazing to me how fast the energy just shifts. And then by December 21st, I was like, oh, this is no big deal.
Yeah. It's funny because 12-12 shift seems to have caused more in people than the 21-12. But you know what? I think it's because, like I've been saying for a while now, the energies have been washing through like a wave for a while, and I really fervently know that they were already washing through in December. We went through the 12-12 gateway. 21-12 was ratcheted up a little bit more. And I know on a personal note, one of my lads, one of my children, my eldest, who's 20-year-old boy, he wasn't even in this county on the day that I was running a 21-12 Ascension kind of event thing here, which basically was a huge channeling meditation kind of thing at Equilibrium Centre where I work here. And he didn't know anything about this, and actually he was with his girlfriend in London. And he had some massive heart-opening thing that happened within the hours that was taking place. And he said it was the most beautiful thing, and him and his girlfriend simultaneously. And they didn't, you know, they weren't afraid, but it was the most beautiful thing that had ever happened to them. And they had he described it as the sensation in the heart, and the air went very heavy, and there were flashes of light everywhere, and they could feel like angelic presence. I mean, he's never experienced anything like this in his life before, nor has she. And he could feel like somebody had dipped their hands in his chest and were actually wrenching it open. And it sounds very uncomfortable and painful, but it really wasn't, because you know what? As we get older, I think it is more uncomfortable, because I've experienced similar, and I felt like I was having a heart attack, last year. But as the younger generation, the teenagers and the children and early 20s and that, this is easy for them, because their hearts really aren't really that closed. They're coming in open-hearted. They haven't they haven't gone through X amount of years of life, and these old habits haven't formed. This old belief system hasn't formed so much when they're so much younger. So that was incredible. But I'm hearing reports like this from loads of people, not just people that were at the event I was involved with, but from other people. Reports have come in of all sorts of shifts forward and people crying. I've had countless emails from people in the last week over Christmas that have been saying that they've been crying with happiness and they're experiencing all these sensations in the heart area, and they've suddenly gone creative where they were never creative before. This is fantastic, isn't it? I mean, this is the new template. This is Ascension. This is the kind of thing that people will be reporting back with. And we haven't seen anything yet. It's 2013. We haven't even quite got there yet. Once 2013 gets going, we're going to see massive changes in relationships where people are having this huge heart opening with another person, heart-to-heart connection now, heart opening catalysts, really. And you're going to hear the term twin flame more and more, It's the new template that's in now. So it's amazing times, fantastic times, really.
Yeah. So, we've talked many times about the twin flame sort of template, and we have been talking about it since 2011. So we were a little bit ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
But I would have to say that, there had been a recapitulation or a recalibration of my thoughts about soulmates and, long-term relationships and what all of that means, and where do you hold someone in a certain energy and you don't let them move from that energy. And what I notice now is that I just want to see movement all the time. I certainly don't want to sort of keep taking snapshots of where a person is energetically and keep them there, sort of.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's as if we get used to the idea of the way a person presents themselves. And, in a love relationship, that it seems to have all this monumental, seriousness about it.
Yeah.
Something about that, making it very serious. And
yeah.
And actually, I think the idea of movement and seeing what else is new with that person is going to play a much bigger role in relationships going forward.
Absolutely, because it's all about evolution and expansion. And the old third dimensional paradigm was about you married someone, you expected to be with them for the rest of your life, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. There's no criticism. I don't mean any criticism by that, but that was the old paradigm, the old template. The new template now is all about a different level of love, a level of love that we didn't even know any of us could experience. And this is all heart-based love, where the ego takes second place. The ego is not annihilated, it just becomes secondary. So this level of love is different, and it's all inclusive, not exclusive. It's not selfish, it's not just one-to-one. It's a love that spreads out. It's a vibration that spreads out. It's a love that's ever changing and expanding and evolving. And because it's all inclusive and it's evolving in this way, you do approach it in a whole different way. And a prediction from me here is that you will see the whole format of so-called conventional marriage maybe completely in a different kind of form for a while, because people are really going to be, testing this out, and everything is going to be completely different for them. The whole structure is changing, and it's not that we even have to worry about this, because the energy's in now. It's just going to evolve on its own. We don't have to even strain or try at this, really. We just have to go with it, just embrace it, really, because the more we do that, the easier it is. The hard work, the year of agitation was 2012. It was the agitated energy to break down that energy field. We're out of that now. The 2013 will not. So I'm going to go as far as almost like we won't even be allowed to do that any longer. There isn't. It's kind of cutting the wheat from the chaff now. Again, I see it as a chasm. You're on one side of this and you don't embrace this, and you kind of just almost like stagnate, really. But very, very quickly, this won't be a long process. Or you embrace it and go forward. And who really would not want to embrace this? It's amazing. This is what we're here for. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Already ready for this. is actually the twin flame template. The Ascension template, the new template, and the twin flame template are all one and the same thing. They're the same thing. It's a fifth dimensional vibration or frequency that goes out, which is fantastic, which means that for people that haven't met anybody yet, aren't in relationships yet, if you're vibrating at this higher frequency, which is going to become the norm as the months go on in this year, you're going to automatically be sending out a higher vibration and attracting a much higher level soulmate. And this isn't to say that everybody that meets anybody or gets into a full-blown relationship that's instantly their twin flame. I'm not saying that. You will not have millions of twin flames manifested all of a sudden. You'll have thousands where there's only been hundreds on the planet. You will have thousands and thousands, and as the years go on, that does become millions. But it won't happen overnight. What's happened is the forerunners of the twin flames that were incarnated in the last sort of 30 years and then 20 years, 10 years, the different waves of them that have come in. And myself in the last few years, I'll include myself in that category. I've been activated in the last few years as well, in the latest wave. We have been able to hold the frequency, get it ready, get the template ready until we had to just hold it and get it through the Ascension. Well, we've done that now. It's in. It's like a blueprint. It's there for everybody. Everybody now gets to access this, all of humanity. So what will happen is just by living and being here while this Ascension energy is in and the template's in, you're 3/4 of the way there anyway, to just up the ante and help that vibration even further, you need to let go of living your life from your brain and your ego. Now, because the new energy is in, a fifth dimensional energy, again, this is going to be easier than it's ever been, because your ego cannot live much of 2013 functioning from predominantly an ego-led existence. Fact. Period. Because ego is only third dimensional. It can only do that if you've got washing through it waves of fifth dimensional heart-based love, joy, creativity. Your ego is not going to disappear or be annihilated, but it will only function if you've got this higher vibration going through it, which can't come straight from the ego. It has to come from the heart. To access the heart, you're talking about high-level vibrations of not lustful, third dimensional love from the brain, but you're talking about higher vibrations of love from the heart, which is something that makes your heart feel warm. It makes it sing. This can be another person, but you can find this inward. It's an internal thing. You must be internal in the heart to get this externally, you know. It's that way round. So you won't necessarily have to be triggered by someone outside of you. This could be a profound love of music. This could be a profound love of, it's nearly always something creative. Creation is the key to the heart, the portal of the heart, the energy of creation. So that's why it's nearly always a creative endeavor. But if you say, oh, well, I'm not particularly creative at the moment, that's going to come to the fore during 2013 as well. But a quick way of getting into the heart and accessing this would to take yourself into a childlike, joyful memory, either a real one that you had as a child where you were digging on the sand and the sun was always shining and you felt this happiness, or you were climbing trees, or you're at your first camp, or anything that evokes a feeling of childlike happiness so strong in you now that if you had your hand on your heart and your eyes were closed, you would be sitting there smiling. Because if you cannot think, you will never, ever, ever think your way into a fifth dimensional heart space. It can't happen. It's impossible because the vibration's too low. The drop's too big. You can feel it. You must feel it. When you feel it, then you have the rainbow bridge. Then you have the bridge. And my hair's just gone on end. I got a massive hit on that for my guides on that. Then you have the bridge. Then you have the bridge. You must feel it. As soon as you feel that space and you feel yourself smiling, then you're activating this energy in the heart. You know what? The double whammy here is once you activate that energy, you are then in the energy of creation, not manifestation. Manifestation is now old hat. Manifestation is too low a frequency. We are now in creation, fifth dimensional energy, and the wishing well, the creative pot, if you like, the portal, sits in the lower heart. This is in all the ancient esoteric texts this is ancient knowledge that has been withheld from us. Now we could always use it, but now more than ever, now we've gone through ascension, now we definitely can use it. And what you want to create, when you have the feeling, and you can't do it without the feeling, it won't happen. When you have that feeling of immense love in your heart or immense joy, and it must be that childlike purity, that childlike feeling, that's why a childlike memory will do it, then you can create. And that is much higher than manifestation and much, much faster. So it's a double whammy. Everything is about this love and joy and creation, and it's all to do with the feelings in the heart. You cannot, this is not an analytical process to it. You can't think your way to it. You must feel it. Feelings will be the only thing that activate this. So it has to be felt. If you had a terrible childhood and you can't think of one happy memory in that, then from 15 years training as a hypnotherapist, I can tell you that you can invent a experience, a false memory, anything that's positive, that's got that childlike purity, like I said, a kid, like when you're a kid on holiday or something like that. It doesn't have to be that. It's just the first thing that comes to mind. I can promise you this, your energy field and your heart will respond in the same way as if it were a real memory, because it's the feeling that does it, not the fact that it was a real memory or not. And so, we are in a fantastic times here, fantastic times. We really are now going to very quickly, it's not even sowing the seeds and seeing what you reap. There isn't going to be a gap between when the seeds are sown and when they come up anymore, You're going to do this, and we're going to see this creation create very, very quickly. So, and with intent, I mean, the sky's the limit here. We really can now have the world that we want to have. We have just been given the keys. That's like almost given the Holy Grail here, to be honest. And that's what the Holy Grail is. It's this internal thing. We've been given it. Here we are. They've said, this is what you've been waiting for. Now we give it to you. And there's going to be a lot of people, a little bit like children been given, a bar of chocolate for the first time. What do I do with this, or where do I start, or I want to do it all at once, or it's going to be a lot of people that need guidance, because we're all in this together, and it's like I say, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's what we were all born for. Anyone on this planet at this time, no matter what age you are, we all chose to be here now to go through this now, and it's phenomenally exciting. It really is exciting, whatever age you are. This is a fantastic time to be alive in.
I know. I have noticed that there's something else going on. I used the word meditation before, but I almost want to call it integration.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really doing in meditation. So in the past, there were things that the ego did, and that was sort of separate from, like, let's say, the manifestation creation process before, let's say before 2012, the year 2012. And then, then there was, the workspace, the love space, all these other spaces that were kind of always separate, even though we would try to sort of jumble them together. But now it doesn't feel like that. It feels like we get everybody showing up, at once. And I would have to come back to that word inclusive, and that when you're bringing all of those spaces of yourself into a situation, it can be anything, you're more in your body, you're definitely in present time, you're moving through your heart space much easier, and so it's not a big we're not going to be getting these question marks of, should I do my light work and then should I do this other job? Should I have this relationship that's really spiritual, or should I have the one that provides, I don't know, different things in my life that are more tangible, like more 3D-like? And it's like we won't have this sort of question mark of picking and choosing. It's more like, wow, I really feel aligned with this, or I feel much more in tune with, sort of this vibration, and I have affinity for this thing over here. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And I think the other thing we keep noticing, and you and I have talked about this quite a bit, is that there really isn't the right and the wrong.
No.
Where we would notice that, I think energetically, it's starting to get a lot more diluted, and that's something that some of the ancient Maya and Inca have come across to the U.S. and given these fantastic talks about, is that there is a process of sort of dilution of where your energy gets so big that these other ideas of what's right and what's wrong and what's proper and what's not part of society and all those sort of things get diluted. And I'm not saying that they're not important, because nobody wants world events to be tragic. I'm just saying that there is something else going on there, and it's different for every person. And it's almost like our world's got so big on the outside that now we've kind of let that go for a little bit to concentrate on expanding our world on the inside, and that's become a lot easier.
Absolutely, and beautifully put, because that's exactly what it's all about. All the external will change very rapidly as a result of the work done on the inside, internally. But it's all about, it's not that we're going to, it makes me smile when I say that. We're in these times now. We haven't got years of therapy ahead of us or time to do this. This is the time. Now is everything. Now is it. So you literally, and it's a natural thing. It's not something you've got to strain at. Now, the only people suffering in this, and going to be suffering in this, are those that are really trying to grip on to an old paradigm that is effectively crumbling away. Now, they can see it. They'll say to me, well, that's just hogwash, because I can see my house is still there. I can see my problems at work are still there. I can see the problems in my marriage are still there. All that's still there. I still go and get in my physical car and drive to my physical work every day, but I'm talking in terms of energy here. The physical exterior will change when the interior changes. And what's going to happen, I go back to this gap, this chasm again, is it's going to become rapidly, and it is to people, I'm seeing it in my own life with people, rapidly apparent, those that are just letting go and just embracing these, and some of these changes they're profound, but in a way they're quite subtle. They feel quite natural. But it's to those that where they're struggling and sensing a change and feeling, I don't like this. I want to grip on. I want to hold on to the relationship I had before, or the job I had before, or the house I had before. I don't like the change in this. And it's all fear. It's all fear and all control. It's all the reptilian brain. It's all that kind of side of things. It triggers these systems triggering, and they're still there. They haven't gone overnight. Although we've made this shift up, the old programs are still sitting in there. It's like we've just been upgraded. We've been upgraded to this 12 bar system now, and the new energy is going through, and we've all been upgraded so we don't blow any circuits, and we can take this level of energy. But, of course, the old one hasn't. For some people, it's crumbled and fallen away like casing, like a shell. My guides are showing me it that way. But for other people, they're aware of the old circuitry there, and they just want to, but I want to go back to the old circuit. I want to do it this way. Well, you can't shove 100 watts through a 60-watt light bulb because something's going to blow. You can't go to the old way, But some people will try, out of fear, out of a subconscious fear, they will try and cling to what was, because they're still under the illusion at the moment that it's still that way. Something in them, somewhere, will be unsettled. There'll be a feeling, you know what, this was felt okay 2 weeks ago, but now really I really just need to follow my gut feeling on this. I don't feel I can do this anymore. We are in the time of truth. I mean truth in every meaning of the the word and the letter in it, the truth on a soul level, a spiritual level, a heart level. Before you could blag it, but not anymore. You've got to live for truth now. This is the time of truth, because it actually does something to you. It does something. It's almost like antimatter, where we were saying love and joy and creativity and following your heart and following that gut feeling. That's ever expanding. It's all inclusive. That's truth. That is living your truth. That's being and doing everything you are, showing the world who you are. It's living it. It's that living embodiment of it. It's like you just have to be that now, and it's in you, and it's in you, and you can't stop it. And why would you want to stop it? And it's the ones that are really going to be suffering are the ones that are still in this state of fear and and control and manipulation and gripping onto things because they're scared. They're scared of what these new feelings mean, these new abilities. They're scared of, they've been brought up their whole life, to not follow my heart. I must do what's logically correct. I must do what's expected of me. And these are the people that are really going to be having to make decisions. Do I follow my heart and go over that side of the Grand Canyon, or do I try and grip on here and suffer in this way? And how long is this going to go on for? There's going to be, it won't go on for long. There isn't much time involved here. I do know that. It's not going to go on for long. And then there's going to be a breakaway between those that are living this new vibration now, which we all signed up for, and those that either are bewildered or too frightened or just deliberately not wanting to.
I think the difference of the folks that you're talking about now is that, so there's some of us that woke up, let's say 1987, harmonic convergence, and then, we've been hanging around for 25 years playing with this stuff.
Yeah.
And then now time is sped up, and there's folks around us that are just experiencing some of these feelings, and it's flash emotion, it's flash anger, or it's flash control, flash sort of belief systems that you're wondering about, like, why do I drive this certain way to work every day? Why am I stuck in this traffic? Why am I doing things on certain days because that's my routine? It's like all of those sort of question marks kind of come at them at once, and it can feel very warlike. It can feel like you're being attacked. And all it is all these things coming to the surface saying, hey, why don't we make a little adjustment here? Why don't we sort of tweak this and give yourself a little more space, a little more freedom? It's actually sort of this flash, spiritual awakening, which by nature is usually flash, and somebody gets a giant gold being in their bedroom or something. But, there's a lot of folks that get to go through this now, but we're talking days, or we're talking maybe a week max of being through a changing energy instead of this sort of 25 years. And that seems exhausting to me now. I don't even know how I got here.
That's the funny thing, though. We have to laugh, but in a way, like, people like yourself and people like me were kind of some of the forerunners that were paving the way here. Now it's going to be so much easier. And it's going to be fast. So in some ways that will overwhelm people. But then because the new template's here now, the new energy is here to sustain them, to nurture them. They're not going through this in this old system 25 years ago now. The new energy is here to literally cradle them, to support them, and I'm getting loads of validation on this while I'm talking here from my guides this end. So that they're being held, we're all being supported in this. And even people that don't understand what's happening will rapidly be able to get a handle on this, because there's so many of us now in different capacities, in this vibration, and not just spiritual teachers. These can be people like friends and relatives in your own lives that just have that intuition. Their own abilities are going to go up as well. If they haven't already, it's going to happen this year. So we're all in this together. There's nobody. There's nobody taking a lead in this. We're all helping each other, and now this vibration is in. It will make it a lot easier. And the changes we're talking about aren't nowhere near as dramatic as 2012 brought, where big things were like coming down in your personal lives and all the foundations were shaken. Yeah, okay, if there's follow-up to that, say the foundations of your life were shaken up, but there's a few more things to be put into place, that will carry on to be put into place. But all the main, like I said before, the agitated energy is gone now. This is a much softer, gentler energy now. I'm not saying that it doesn't bring some of its trials and tribulations, because there are some people and some associations and some parts of your life that, because you're embracing this, you may have to leave behind. Equally, there are others that's making that journey with you, but it's a really loving, gentle energy. It's not like what we've had to go through to build up to this shift. The shift is now, we're now into that period of time. We're like, it's so funny, the imagery I'm being given here. I'm just seeing like birds that have hatched out of eggs, and they've come out of the nest, and they're trying to take little steps forward, and they're scared, and they don't know, and literally the mother bird is just nudging them a bit, saying, go on, you can do it, you can fly, it's all right. And we're at that stage where we think, oh my God, we're out of the nest. Are we safe to be out of the nest? Can we, what if we fall off the tree? Can we really fly? Are these really wings? Can we really do this? We're at that stage. We've just been nudged out of the nest now, but we haven't got to do it on our own. There's a load of support with us. The hard part really has been done. But, going back, almost going full circle here about the new template that's in, and it will have a profound impact on every part of your life, because every part of your life involves a relationship, whether it's relationships with people at work, whether it's friends, co-workers, lovers, husbands, wives, whatever. It's all about human interaction. So there won't be any part of life that isn't affected by that. But this much higher frequency will mean that all your relationships start to be developing into a higher level. So people will either raise in frequency with you, or they won't, and you will resonate and attract in very quickly those that do. That this is just going to become so evident. What we are going to witness en masse as 2013 goes on and beyond, on the years that follow this now, is when these high connections, particularly high connections of love-based partnerships come in, and we'll call them partnerships. The twin flame union would be included in this, but any very high soul connection around that. I mean, twin flame union is the highest we can maintain on this planet at the moment, but anything very, very close to that, it's going to be quite hard to tell in the early days who is actually with a twin and who isn't, because the symptoms, if you like, are going to be very similar. People are going to have these literally knock their block off connections. My can't even put it into words. I take it from one who's experienced it. It's hard to find the words for it, but life changing, life altering. Mm-hmm. This is going to become commonplace. Everybody where you work or in the town that you live will know of somebody, or if not more than one, who is maintaining that they've had one of these absolutely awe-inspiring, heart-opening, amazing connections. And this is going to gradually become the norm. The more of this love and this template, the more this is being pumped out. Of course, this frequency, the whole planet is just going to be awash with it. And gradually, over a period of years, I'm being told right the way up to about into 2024 and beyond. Right, so a big transition period. That it just becomes the norm. Everybody has those high level connections, which is a totally different idea of love to what we have now. Way, way bigger than what we understand love to be. Way, way bigger. It's not even, they don't even call it unconditional love then. That's too small a word. That's actually a third dimensional word for it. They actually call this like a source love, or this heart-centered source love. It's unconditional love actually is I can feel it, and what a change that is, because 2 weeks ago I could have said unconditional love and that felt right. Now that feels too small.
It feels like blech.
It's too low. It's not expansive enough.
It feels like I have to accept something that isn't, I don't know, what I want, or I don't know. It just feels weird.
Well, you know what? Because we've got so that's making me laugh. because that in you is your ego. That is Kristina's ego in there. That's,
yeah.
Hang on a minute, like, and that's making me laugh, because that's a sure sign, the ego waving a flag at you, and it thinks, hang on a minute, I'll accept some change, but not that change, because that doesn't fit with my belief system, and that's really funny, because that's what the ego does. And mine does this stuff all the time, because I've got a massively strong ego. My massively strong ego is nowhere near as strong as my heart. Because all of that kind of I guess, 2.5 years in the twin flame union has done that for me, and opened all that up. So I can, as soon as I realise my ego is starting to run with the ball, away can take it down to the heart. This is what you have to do. You said to me that there is no separation now. Well, that's bang on. There isn't. We must, and I've got into the habit of keep separating the ego and mind and separating the heart. There isn't a separation. You just need to drop the mind down into the heart. Bring it all down into the heart. Bring everything up into the heart. Bring everything from the mind down into the heart and merge it. The beautiful personality that you are will never, ever be obliterated, will never be gone. It will be enhanced, increased, expanded, even more loving, even more gentle, even more beautiful. It's greater than, not less than, when you live through the heart. But the ego will have, have you up night and day telling you that if you do this, I become annihilated. I don't have control. I don't have this. It's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. You are greater than, because you're a human being, hence the term being. You're greater than when you allow these changes to take place. And let's face it, in a way, we kind of, I'm going to say, I'm going to taunt the ego here, and in a way, and say we haven't got a choice. We think we have free will in this and choice, but how much free will do we really have in this at the end of the day? We're all here now in this fifth dimensional energy, and basically the only choice we have is do we want to go kicking and screaming and suffering with it, and resisting something beautiful, or do we just want to, literally chill a bit and just say, okay, take me, I'm yours. Do it. I know what sounds and feels a lot better.
Yeah, it does. I just think some of those concepts like free will,
yeah.
like, God, they seem so heavy sometimes. And then I just kind of move on and do other things, and I don't even think about it. And then I'm back in that space of, freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So, Lindy, where can folks find you?
Well, you can find me on my website. My email address is on there as well. And my website is www.lindy, that's Lindy, Cowling, COWLING.co.uk. Like I say, I'm based in Wiltshire in the United Kingdom. Wiltshire is the crop circle county of the world. We have Stonehenge here, Avery, lots of paranormal stuff and that. But obviously, I feel like saying that is old hat, because everything's changed in the last few days. And now, all these...
Those rocks are glowing now.
They are. And it's so weird you said that, because they're glowing gold. And that is the energy that myself and many other people that were channeling that day was given to give to people. They are glowing gold now. But the metaphysical, what we call the metaphysical centers of the world, I'm literally being given this information as I'm sitting here. They've multiplied. So what we thought of maybe as the top so many wonders of the world now, well, it's almost like everywhere is a wonder of the world now,
Yeah.
because this energy is pumping through everywhere now. So there is no elite special place to go and be, the special place to go and be is in your heart. You are your own temple. You are the wonder of the world. It's us. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. And my hair is so on end here. I've got so many people in here. It's untrue now.
Yeah. And it begins. So now you'll be in this state for like the next 8 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. It begins. Yeah, it begins. So let's bring it on. We're here. This is what we waited for. Let's do it. Let's do
Okay. Well, Happy New Year, Lindy. I'm so glad you signed up to surf the psychic waves with me today. I think this is great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, darling. Thanks, Kristina. Happy New Year.